what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. When your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Hey there, welcome to another episode. You got me off guard there.
Out of all the reindeers, you know you're the mastermind. Run, Rudolph, Randolph.
Chuck Berry?
It is Chuck Berry. To get you in the Christmas spirit a little bit here. It's coming up pretty soon.
It is. A couple weeks away.
Another
Hope you have all your shopping done.
11 days, is it?
I don't have my shopping done.
So 10
You don't have to
days.
worry about it because the world's going to end.
That's exactly right. It's going to end next Friday.
Yeah, but if they're wrong, I got a whole lot of
Got
shopping
a lot
to
of
do.
explaining to do, yeah. Give you just a few days to finish your Christmas shopping after the Mayan calendar expires.
I used to when
And
I was
we're all still here.
when I was in college. I had a friend of mine that we used to like to go out on Christmas Eve. We'd go to the bar, and then we'd go Christmas shopping. It was fun.
Did you ever get your shopping done?
Not very well.
Yeah.
No.
That tends to happen, when you do things like that.
Mostly,
Do some drinking and then...
we bought liquor for our friends, but
Well, yeah, that's...
yeah,
Hey,
wine.
I'm just
liquor.
saying,
Yeah,
if you want to buy me a gift, liquor's not a
won't
not a
turn
bad thing.
He won't turn it down.
I will not turn down the liquor. No.
Well, I'm going to say welcome to another episode of At Odds. You know where we're recorded, in the back room. The Doubleheader Bar and Studio in the greater Lansing area in the great state of Michigan. In what country, Nate?
United Arab Emirates.
United Arab Emirates. I don't think so.
That one has a few syllables in
It
it.
is. I wanted more syllables in the countries, and you gave me some.
Yeah, it was hard to find a flight heading out last
It
night
was.
that was coming to United Arab Emirates,
Yeah.
so we could be here by showtime today, but I did it. I made things happen, and they happened. And now we have things that have happened.
You are the greatest guy in the whole world.
I don't know if that's true.
No,
Santa
it's
Claus is
not.
up there with me.
It's not.
Santa Claus is up there.
He's up there. He's a
But-
good guy.
You know,
He's jolly, round, kind of like me. Anyways,
yeah, he's nice to people generally.
I'm not really nice to people.
You know,
I tend to be sour, acerbic,
very Serbic,
and not very
but
nice.
not diminutive.
Diminutive. No, you wouldn't look at me and say you're diminutive.
No, I wouldn't.
Except, well, never mind. Anyways, today's show will be about drone technology, the ethics of drones, and the use on U.S. citizens. So, don't go away. Should we start out with a little bit of history of drones?
Yeah, probably. Let's tell people what drones are
Well,
and where they came from.
where
Where were they used first?
It's
How
tough.
are they used today?
Oh my goodness! You keep interrupting me.
What color are they?
I'm gonna use. They're pink. We're gonna use UAVs, which means unmanned aerial vehicles. Unmanned aerial vehicles. So I will say drones or UAVs interchanged. The first military use of, a drone, and I'm using quotation marks here, was a balloon in 1794, where the French Aerostatic Corps used balloons to watch the movements of the enemy during battle. 1794. Now, the Austrian balloons were...
God,
What? Go ahead.
do you know how they did that?
Yeah, they put up a balloon on a tether, and they raised it up in the air, and they had a guy up there looking
Okay.
at
Yeah.
where the troops were forming, and he could signal the people below.
Okay. So-
Even the U.S. Civil War, we did that.
So not a UAV. I'm not sure that really qualifies as a drone like we're
You may be
talking
right.
about
It was
them.
not unmanned. I suppose it was
It
manned.
was very manned.
Yeah, you may be right there. All right. Well, then
They needed it to be demanned.
All right. So I'm going to go to the next thing, which is the earliest recorded use of an unmanned aerial vehicle for war, which occurred August 22nd, 1849, when the Austrians attacked the Italian city of Venice. You know where Venice is.
Been there many times.
With unmanned balloons that were loaded with explosives. Now, this was kind of cool. They launched them for ships that were in the harbor, and what they had to do is they had to figure out what the wind was and the velocity of the wind, and they would actually have an explosive device that was based on a fuse, and they would light the fuse, and they would cut the length of the fuse, and how long it would take for that to fly over their target, and then that fuse would
accurate measurement.
Then would drop an explosive device that also had another fuse that was lit, and then that would drop down and then blow up. The problem was the winds changed.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and so during this war, it was recorded that some of the balloons actually flew back to the ships and actually were dropped on their own troops.
You might want to check the wind direction before you let one of those things go.
That was a little tough, but as I said, balloons were used in
cool concept.
The Civil War, U.S. Civil War, for observation as well. Okay, World War I, the first pilotless aircraft were built during and shortly after World War I. Most were radio control devices, and they were designed to fly into Zeppelins, which were the big hydrogen-filled balloons that were used by the Germans. And the idea was to fly into them, explode, and destroy the
Not to
Zeppelin.
be confused with Led Zeppelin, sort of.
No.
So,
no, not the same.
Decent rock band, though.
Mm-hmm. They became the flying bomb. They were intended then came the flying bomb, and they were intended to be used as aerial torpedoes, kind of as an early version of today's cruise missiles that would fly and then, sort of drop a bomb.
Kamikaze into something.
Yeah, right. The automatic airplane was shown to the U.S. Army, and this led to a project to build the aerial torpedo, resulting in the Kettering bug. You know what the Kettering bug? Didn't you go to Kettering University?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's no relation. Which first flew in 1918, and the technology was successful. What?
Well, 1918 was only 18 years after the 1800s.
Yeah.
Well, your reaction when you accidentally said 18 was kind of funny.
Yeah, but I could have said 1818, and that would have been 100 years difference.
It would have been 100 years.
Anyways, they were working on this Kettering bug. Unfortunately, it wasn't perfected before the end of the war came, but this is how it worked. This is kind of cool. It was a mechanical system, and it was devised that would track the aircraft's distance flown, and before takeoff, the technicians determined the distance to be traveled, right? So they would say, we got to go 100 miles, and they take in wind speed and the direction of the flight path. The flight path. The flight path. Wow.
This is shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, this was used to calculate the total number of the engine revolutions needed for the bug to reach its destination. In other words, they kind of wound it up.
Yeah.
And they said, when this thing turns so many times, you will...
Hopefully you've made it where we want you to go.
Exactly. and it would retract the bolts attaching the wings, and the damn thing just sort of fell down and then exploded on impact. And if they were off, it could have gone into a church or a schoolyard.
Right. And primitive
who knows?
weapons used today still do that sort of thing. But
sometimes.
that's a pretty cool concept. I mean,
and that was the idea.
Really.
And they were these unmanned sort of flying bombs.
Now, what would be cool is if they use those wind-up monkeys with the cymbals, that walk around and bang the cymbals together.
I don't know.
That would be cool.
I don't know who you are.
That would be cool.
I don't know who you are anymore.
All right.
I
enjoy a good monkey banging cymbals together once in a while.
World
I
War
don't
One
think
was
there's anything wrong with that.
and I'm not saying there was. I'm saying there's something wrong with you. World War One
Granted.
was the Great War to end all wars until the Second World War.
until the sequel.
Right, and between that time, they continued with their research, of course. And at World War II, we had Reginald Denny and the radio plane. Now, this is kind of interesting because there's a little trivia with that. But anyways, this was the first large-scale production where they had a purpose to build a drone that was produced by this guy. And he was a British pilot during World War I. And after the war, he moved to Hollywood to seek his fortunes as an actor. He did work as an actor, and he had various jobs, but he really liked radio-controlled things, including aircraft. And so in the 1930s, he incorporated Reginald Denny's industry and opened a model airplane shop on Hollywood Boulevard. All right? So it evolved into the Radio Plane Company, and Denny believed that low-cost radio-controlled aircraft would be very useful for training anti-aircraft gunners. And in 1935, he demonstrated the prototype to the U.S. Army. They liked it, and they started building these things to use for gunners. And they would practice, shooting these small little airplanes down.
Yeah.
To test their guns and all that kind of
Target
stuff.
practice, basically.
Exactly.
It's about as real as you're going to get.
Yep. So in 1940, he won the contract, and they were being manufactured, and nearly 15,000 of these drones were used by the Army during World War II.
Wow.
And what the trivia is that in Van Nuys, where his radio factory was, in 1944, an Army photographer named David Conover saw a young lady working at the plant.
Huh.
And her name was Norma Jean Mortson. And he thought she had potential as a model. And this discovery led to the fame for Mortensen, who soon changed her name to... You don't know?
Oh, I know. I'm just waiting to
Okay.
see if you know.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe worked for this guy building these planes. All right, so after World War II, these radio planes were developed mostly...
And then sang to the president on his birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Mr. President. Jackie did not like that.
You know that?
Jackie did not like that when she came out and sang
that. Wouldn't have been quite as disturbing if you weren't wearing the exact same outfit she had on that day, and the wind wasn't blowing here.
We're recording this. It's Friday night. It's the weekend, and I wear whatever I want on the weekend.
And I've noticed, and I was hoping you would put on a Snuggie or something.
Now I know why you want to do the shows during the week where I don't dress like
so
that.
So you still have a little bit of your work attire on, or at least half of it.
Yeah. But what do you think? The pearls too much?
No, the pearls are nice.
Okay.
Those are nice.
Yeah. I like the pearls.
It's the dress.
It's the sequins.
Yeah,
you don't like the sequin dress.
I mean...
Oh, Lordy.
That's fine.
All right. Anyways, okay. So even after World War II, the radio planes were used, but they had to develop faster and faster ones because the jet age was upon us, right? So these gunners now couldn't just go after these little propeller things. They had to go after faster targets.
Right. Yep.
All right. So these radio planes were developed not only for target practice, but now they were starting to do things like unmanned aerial photo reconnaissance. So they'd actually put cameras on, fly the planes over a particular battlefield, take pictures, fly back, develop the pictures, and look and see where the enemy was.
Yep.
All right. So in the 40s, they were used, and they also use them now into the 50s and 60s for, the Korean War, Vietnam War. They flew over communist China, of course. We don't like them. North Korea during the 60s and 70s.
We didn't like them.
No, we didn't. No, we love China, communist China now.
Right. We have to. They own us.
They supplied these pearls I'm wearing for $1.95.
Yeah, not so much made